Okay. Are we on? Let me know if you can see and hear me, everybody. Let's see. Anything? Let me know. Working good? Alright. Beautiful. Can you hear me okay? Is the volume alright? Should I turn it up or down? Hello to you too, everybody. Excellent. Well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Paleontologizing, and welcome to the San Francisco Zoo. Going to be talking kind of quietly for part of today because we don't want to disturb the animals. We want to be as unobnoxious as possible while we're here. We don't want to, make anybody's zoo day any less good than it could be. Patrons and animals alike. Anyway, welcome to Paleontologizing, everybody. If it's your first time here, let me introduce myself. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, and I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. Now, we're here today at the San Francisco Zoo to walk around and look at some of the animals and talk about their evolutionary relationships, some of their really cool features that they've developed, and, answer your questions. So as a paleontologist, I study fossils, dinosaur fossils in particular, but, I'm a vertebrate paleontologist. Dinosaurs are a kind of vertebrate animal. Paleontology is the study of fossils in general, everything from fossil bacteria to trees to fossil whales, amphibians, any living thing, fungi, protists, and animals. As a vertebrate paleontologist, I study vertebrate animal fossils, mostly dinosaurs. But there's a lot to talk about at a zoo like this, like with our giraffes right here. Check them out. How cool is this? We can get this close to a giraffe. Yeah. So giraffes are, of course, ungulate mammals. They're kind of artiodactyl, even-toed ungulates. They're so-called cloven-hoofed mammals. And if we get close enough, we might even be able to see those hoofs there. Yeah. Giraffes are super interesting critters. Well adapted for high browsing like this. And look at this one looking at us. Just gorgeous creatures. They're so cool. And they're almost unique among modern mammals. Giraffes as a group. There's several living species of giraffe. But their closest living relative is the okapi. And then outside of that, they don't really have any close relatives. Goats, I think, would be the closest. Caprids. So I'm going to start off with the giraffes near the entrance of the zoo. Yeah. Anyway, good stuff. We've got 156 people watching already. This is wonderful. Anyway, good to have you. And there's an ostrich over here, too. The world's largest living bird, at least in terms of height or weight, if not in terms of wingspan. Yeah, Struthio camelus is the modern ostrich. Reminds me of like an ornithomimid dinosaur. This one's very keen on just pacing back and forth across this part. I think that's where I saw her yesterday, too. I think this one's a female. Plumage looks more drab. The males they've got kind of more striking plumage than that. Higher contrast between the darks and lights. She's kind of a more drab, grayish brown. Pretty sure that's a female. And there she goes over there. Yeah. Please tell the ostrich we said hello. If she comes back, I'll tell her. But I'm not going to yell across the zoo, Not trying to be obnoxious here. But yeah, a dinosaur indeed, Mariah Art. Good to have you here. Welcome, everybody. Yeah. Ostriches are so cool. There's been a number of different lineages of large flightless birds over Earth history, and ostriches are not anywhere close to the largest of them, which is interesting to think about. And there she goes over there. She's coming back. Yeah. Anyway, I'm so glad that the equipment is working today. I was here yesterday, and no dice. So I've come back today. I don't really mind paying the admission fee a second time, because it goes to support the zoo, and it's a cause that I believe in. So, there are much worse things than having to pay zoo admission twice. Anywho, really cool place. Has anybody in chat ever been to the San Francisco Zoo before? The zoo is almost 100 years old at this point. It opened back in 1929, if I remember correctly. And it's kind of a public-private partnership. Part of the funding comes from the city, part of the funding comes from membership and donations and various patrons and I'm sure grants and stuff like that too. But it's a really cool place. I'm very fond of the San Francisco Zoo, and I'm thrilled to be able to bring you along for our stream today. Here comes our ostrich again. And you have Deathsaurus. Very nice. Yeah. Terminator Pig says, how come birds don't get as large as their ancestors did? It's not so much that they don't get as large, it's that the largest ones are very recently extinct because of us as human beings. So some of the big moas and then other flightless birds like the elephant bird, Apiornis of Madagascar, they lived until recent times. Human beings would have encountered them and altered their habitat, eaten their eggs, that kind of thing. So they're extinct because of us, basically. It's very important we make sure the same thing doesn't happen to today's largest bird, the ostrich. She's looking at the camera. I wonder if she likes the fuzzy microphone on top. Hi there. You're beautiful. With any luck, we'll be able to see a cassowary today, too. Cross your fingers for that. On the other side of the zoo. But a cassowary is another one of the largest living birds today. They don't get as big as ostriches, but they still get pretty large. And they are, by most accounts, much more potentially dangerous than ostriches. They tend to be more aggressive, and they've got a huge claw on their foot. We'll go see that cassowary later, I hope. Let's hope that she's visible. Seeing an ostrich like this, it makes it easier to imagine an ornithomimid dinosaur, a so-called ostrich mimic dinosaur, which would have looked a lot like this in a lot of ways, except with a long tail and with claws in the arms, but it would have been feathered like this too. You look at old dinosaur books that talk about ornithomimids and say, oh, picture an ostrich, but take away its feathers and add arms and a tail. It's like, you don't have to take away the feathers. We now know that those guys had feathers, too. Geoidos is also the emu. Yes, and the rhea are big flightless birds. Together they form a group called the ratites, which I think used to be considered a grade rather than a clade, like not a true evolutionary group. I think it's back to being a true evolutionary group, where they all share a recent common ancestor. And yeah, Casey says ostriches are so cool, look at their weird feet. Yeah, 2 toes on each foot. That is kind of a trend that we see among fast-running animals, whether they're birds, whether they're non-avian dinosaurs, whether they're critters like horses. You reduce the number of digits on your hind limb as you evolve to be a faster runner. And ostriches have done that. This is the fastest animal on 2 legs today. Significantly faster than like a human Olympic athlete, like an Olympic sprinter. Ostriches can go much faster. I've heard something like 40 miles per hour. I've even heard 50 before. I don't know what the actual recorded record is. Like one that we actually have ample evidence for. But it's fast. Definitely fast enough to make it the fastest bipedal creature on our planet today. The ostrich, Struthio camelus. She is beautiful. Very, very cool. And that's your local zoo. Oh, Chen, well, welcome to your local zoo. It's good to have you here. We are going to go continue on and see what else we can see. So let's say goodbye to the ostrich and the giraffes for now. And, yeah, let's go this way. Let's go see some other critters. I particularly want to see the Komodo dragons and the cassowary, the tapir, and the giant anteater today. So we'll see if we can catch them. But first, let's see if we can catch a glimpse of the gorillas. One of our one of our close hominid relatives. Kind of like, cousins to us as human beings. And Alexander Morrison, yeah, definitely want to see some crocodilians too. I'm not sure if I can't think of any off the top of my head that they have here. If we go to the Oakland Zoo later, we'll see if we can catch the American alligators. But I'm not sure if they have any gators here, but look at this. Yeah, our cousins, the gorillas. Pretty cool. Nice big enclosure for them. Yeah, it's a lot bigger than my house. Yeah. I think this is a male right here. He's kind of sitting there looking at us. And that looks like a female over there. Yeah. So, I'm trying to remember exactly where. I want to say that it was like, I want to say it's about 8 million years ago that our lineage split from gorillas. So, we share a pretty recent common ancestor in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, the primates are nice. They named it twice exactly. Gorilla is the binomial, the scientific name for gorilla. Very cool. Just fascinating animals. There's almost like an uncanny valley kind of a thing going on when we look at a critter that's so close to us. Yeah. That could be a young male approaching, actually. I don't know my gorillas too well. Yeah. And yeah, Casey, oh, it's so funny that you said that too. Yeah. I'm glad these critters are still around, So many of our closest relatives are now extinct. Basically all of the hominids except for gorillas, chimps, and orangutans. And bonobos. Yeah. Made it into the present. So these are precious, precious creatures, They're so close to us. Mariah Art says, I agree, it's hard to think of them as animals sometimes. I mean, yeah, they are so much like us. I think the more productive way to think about it, though, is just to realize that, hey, we are nested within kingdom Animalia. We are a kind of primate. Rather than, forming a hard mental distinction between animals and humans, it's like we're a variety of animal. A pretty weird one, but, yeah. Very cool. And Cactus Jack, I can't zoom in. No, there's a fixed lens on here. So, I can put the camera a little bit closer like this, but that's as good as we can get. Yeah. Here, we'll move on. And we'll see what else we can see. So I think this just loops around. Yeah, this is about actual size for a gorilla right here. Big male gorilla. See the big sagittal crest on the head? Pretty cool. Yeah, thanks for inviting us into your home today. Alright, let's go see some other critters. Yeah. And we are so flat and upright. Yeah, humans have supremely bizarre anatomy. We're such weirdos, but we use it to good effect. I think the lemurs might be around the corner. I think the mandrills are over there too, if memory serves. So we'll go take a look at them. And Terminator pig, you're correct about that, yeah. Was definitely some pedomorphosis, some neoteny, I guess. Like adults taking on the aspect of juveniles. In human evolution for sure. We look pretty similar to like a baby chimp or something. Yeah, it's funny how that works. And lemurs, will they have a baby iguanodon with them? Crimson Carnotaurus? We'll see. I doubt it, but we'll see. Here we go. Here's the mandrills over here. So I hope we can get a good glimpse of them. I've said many times on this channel that mammals tend to have pretty drab coloration. They tend to be brown or gray, or grayish brown, or brownish gray. But mandrills are kind of an exception, especially the males. Really, really brightly colored faces. And part of that is that they actually have color vision. Most primates have kind of re-evolved color vision. And that's one of the reasons why many of them tend to be pretty brightly colored. So let's take a look. Let's see if any of them get close enough to see. Oh, that looks like a male right there. See his rump. Brightly colored. Pretty cool. And there's some juveniles down there. Looking around. Yeah. Pretty cool. Drills, yes indeed, Casey. Yeah. And salamander, yeah, heterochrony is a really, really important thing and not something that enough dinosaur paleontologists really consider when it comes to dinosaur evolution. So that's cool that you got that from Denver, Liz's class. I've had many, many conversations with Denver about that over the years, and yeah, it's the key to the whole Triceratops Torosaurus thing, I think. But anyway, here he goes. He's probably the big boy in the group. Marching off over there. Look at that snout, you see? It might be a little bit tough for you to see. This camera doesn't zoom in, but that brightly colored face. Let's see. Very cool. Anyway, neat. Let's continue on and see if we can catch some of the animals that are often reclusive later in the day. We got here a little bit later than I would have liked. It's already noon. But, yeah. I really want to be able to show you the tapir and the giant anteater. If they are out and about right now. Because they are super cool. Alright. Man, when I got here yesterday morning, it was so quiet here. It was wonderful. The morning's the best time to go to the zoo for sure.
Thank you for the information.
Okay, let's see who's over here. Oh, we got some primates going nuts over there. And Casey Snowart says, do you ever sketch animals at the zoo to learn about their anatomy? I've not done that in years, but I want to get back into that. Me and my friend Snail Chaser, you know him from twitch.tv/Snail Chaser, we used to have this thing where we would meet up in the city and each bring a sketchbook and then just drawing things. We'd draw, I don't know, other people sitting around at the coffee shop, or we draw pigeons on the sidewalk, or we draw each other, or whatever. And it was just kind of a fun, sketching exercise. I had to take him to the Oakland Zoo sometime, and we should do that. But, I don't know, oftentimes it's tricky to, see in a good enough pose to be able to sketch. Now, case in point here, we've got a rhinoceros. He's just sitting here. And not super visible. But look at those ears swiveling around. So rhinoceros have an excellent sense of hearing. Much better than their eyesight. And I can't see the mouth, so I can't tell you if this is a white or a black rhino. But I can tell you how to tell the difference. And it's not by color. Black rhino and white rhino, those are misnomers. So white rhinos are called white rhinos supposedly because, like, the original etymology is wide rhino, because they've got a wide mouth. Almost kind of like a flat line that goes across. Pretty wide mouth like that. Whereas black rhinos have got, like, their mouth kind of comes to a point, like a tip at the end. Anyway, for white rhino, apparently it was originally wide rhino. There's like a word in Afrikaans that means wide, and then that got mistranslated to white. So even though white rhinos aren't necessarily white and black rhinos aren't necessarily black, that's just kind of how it shook out, given the language barrier and everything. So I don't know if this is a white or a black rhino. Yeah. And yeah, Crimson Carnotaurus. Yep. Yeah. Afrikaans. I need to pay closer attention to chat, because many of you are saying the same thing that I'm saying simultaneously. The rhinoceros are a group of well, they're part of a group called Perissodactyla. So the giraffes that we saw over at the giraffe enclosure, those are artiodactyls. So among your hoofed mammals, you've got two main groups. You've got your artiodactyls, the even-toed ungulates. They tend to have either 2 or 4 toes on each foot, so it's an even number. Your perissodactyls are ones that have 3 or 1 toe on each foot. So an odd number. So even-toed and odd-toed. Artiodactyls and perissodactyls, respectively. So a rhinoceros have got 3 toes on each foot. They are perissodactyls. And this isn't some arbitrary thing where, like, scientists are going around naming these different critters, putting them in groups based on the number of toes. That actually reflects their ancestry. So the rhinoceros, like this, they're closely related to the tapirs, who've got 3 toes on each foot, and the horses, who have 1 toe on each foot. So rhinos, tapirs, and horses are all perissodactyls. There's a lot of differences, too, in, their kind of gross morphology and in their internal organs and stuff like that. So artiodactyls tend to be a little bit better at digesting different kinds of plant material. And so that, and I think some things to do with their gestation, they've been broadly more successful than the perissodactyls. They're far more diverse. There are many, many more kinds of artiodactyl today than there are perissodactyls. For perissodactyls, it's just rhinos, tapirs, and horses. For artiodactyls, it's, goats and giraffes and, bovids, things like cows, cattle. You've got antelope, you've got deer, you've got pigs, you've got hippos, and you've got whales. Whales are also a kind of artiodactyl. So the artiodactyls are far more diverse today than the perissodactyls, but I think that kind of makes the perissodactyls interesting and special, because there's not very many of them around today. And they're not doing so hot compared to the artiodactyls. And it makes it all the more important to protect them. And there's going to be a theme today, too. I feel like I always say this when we go to the zoo, but rhinoceros, even though you might think of them as being pretty exotic animals, pretty far removed from where we are right now in North America, rhinoceros as a group first evolved in North America. This is where they come from. They are North American originals. And we'll see some other animals today where that's the same story. Yeah. And rhinos are very cool Zazu shakes, absolutely. Yeah. Anywho, very cool. And Sazla Shake says, how do you know so much stuff, Danny? It's really impressive. I mean, this is what I do for a living, I'm sure there's topics that you could talk about at length. That would be impressive for people watching. Oh, I was hoping we could hear the penguins today. Yesterday morning, they were making these really cool sounds. Here's the penguin enclosure over here. And it really reminded me of the Pteranodon from Jurassic Park 3, because I think they literally took penguin sounds. It's kind of like a but a little bit higher pitched. I can't really do it without being really obnoxious here and startling the penguins. But it's just this otherworldly sound that they make. I think these are South African penguins. Maybe Magellanic minutes? Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh, from the southern tip of South America. And actually pretty far north, too. Yeah. So many of these are molting right now. See, looking a little bit spongy. Yesterday they were getting their enclosure all hosed down. The keepers going there, and they're making all kinds of cool noises. And now they look pretty sedate. Just resting. Penguins are such cool animals. So they date back to not too long after the extinction of the non-bird dinosaurs. The first penguin fossils that we have are, I think, close to 60 million years old or older. They're from like the Paleocene, from the beginning of the age of mammals, which could really be the age of birds. More than twice as many species of bird today as there are mammals, but I digress. Penguins like this have got a pretty rich fossil heritage. It goes back really far. We've got penguin fossils, like I said, from about 60 million years ago, or even older, I think, from New Zealand. So a venerable group. They've been around a long time, penguins. Very successful. Over 9,000? Exactly, Rhacodactylus and Clairvert, yes. And tell us about the great auk. Yeah, Babaloo baby. I can tell you a little bit about the great auk. It's not related to penguins, not closely related at all. But the great auk was a kind of bird that went extinct in recent times. It's actually where the word penguin comes from. The scientific name for the great auk was like Penguinus something. I think Penguinus was the genus name. They're from the northern hemisphere, so they lived around the North Sea. They were superficially penguin-like. They looked almost like penguins, but could the great auk fly? I'm trying to remember. They might have been flightless. But they were a seabird, not related to penguins, looked vaguely like them, kind of black and white tuxedo thing going on. And they were wiped out by humans overexploiting them. They were hunted to extinction, basically. The birds themselves, their eggs, too, collected. I think during Victorian times. I forget what year it was exactly that the great auk went extinct, but it was a really tragic story. And this is at a time where that was a fairly new idea that animals could go extinct. You know, we today take that idea for granted. Of course animals can go extinct. You know, if you overexploit them, if you destroy their habitat, if you hunt them. But back then, you know, there was almost like a religious idea that like, oh, animals can't go extinct because, you know, God created them and He's perfect and His creation is perfect, and so, you know, no part of it could ever become imperfect, could ever completely disappear. And so that kind of attitude led to the extinction of a lot of different animals, like the great auk. Today we know better, of course, but yeah, it's a tragic story. We'll talk about it again another time. Because yeah, extinction's one of the topics that we kind of always on our mind here on Paleontologizing. Yeah, and there are different species of auk today, absolutely. In 1852, presumed extinct. It was only around, I don't know, 1820 or so, maybe, that the idea of extinction was really, like, accepted by the scientific community at large. This noise right here, we're getting more water put into the penguin enclosure. And then, dragon enclosure. I'm not sure we're going to see any dragons today. I was here yesterday, I couldn't see any. This is where they go when it's sunny out. Their indoor habitat is around the corner, and every time I've been here, the glass is kind of fogged up. They keep it really humid in there. Condensation on the inside of the glass, and it's really difficult to see. So I can't guarantee we'll see a Komodo dragon. In fact, we probably won't, but we'll look anyway. see any dragons. Which is unfortunate. This is one of my favorite animals here at the zoo. Varanus komodoensis is the world's largest living lizard. They're part of the varanid family, so they're related to other monitor lizards. Like those big goannas and parentes of Australia. Let's see. No, I'm not seeing anybody in here. Huh. Unfortunate. Yeah. But these are super, super cool critters. I've got a cast skull of a Komodo dragon at home, and I'm always keen to show that off when people bring up Komodo dragons in the chat. Oh, and Shenanigans, how are you doing? Welcome to Paleontologizing. Thank you, Claire, for letting me know. Yeah. How did your stream go? Looks like you were doing some Fall Guys. I hope it was a lot of fun. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Welcome to the San Francisco Zoo. I've got mobile data for the month of September, so we're walking around and doing some mobile streams at various cool places. And we were just trying to see a Komodo dragon. Here's a model of a Komodo dragon right here, just to give you a sense of scale. This is actual size. They get this big. It's the world's largest living lizard. But they're, yeah, the ones in there were elusive. I think they might be inside right now. Not on display. But anyway, very cool. We were just talking about Komodo dragons yesterday on stream in my office, actually. We were talking about how it's still a subject of debate whether or not they are venomous. We know they've got some sort of compound in their saliva that is detrimental to their prey, but is it actually venom, or is it something else? It's currently debated. Like, there are researchers on both sides of that issue who are making their cases. We don't have a strong consensus yet. And venomous or not, don't get bitten. Yeah, Rhacodactylus. Thankfully, this one here is a model, so I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, really cool critter. We've talked about Komodo dragons a lot on this channel. We, as dinosaur paleontologists, could potentially learn a lot from them because they do something that we call ontogenetic niche partitioning. So the juveniles kind of live in a different part of the environment than the adults. They're mostly hanging out in trees. They're eating different prey than the adults are, and then they kind of move through different niches as they grow and mature. As they get larger, they're eating different kinds of food, they're preying on different critters, and then they, after they get large enough, they actually, take to the forest floor and live there for the rest of their lives. I think a lot of dinosaurs are probably doing the same thing, kind of exploiting different resources and living in different parts of the environment throughout their ontogeny, throughout their life history like that. And then right here we've got a peacock hanging out. That's a male of the peafowl species. I forget the genus and species name, but yeah, they're just loose here on the grounds. I love seeing peacocks just running around doing their thing at different zoos. How's that for a showy dinosaur there? Yeah. But yeah. And walking stick library. We do have another peacock over here. Another male, I think. Is that a female? I don't know, we're not going to get too close. So, buggers. But yeah, I think that's a female right there. Much shorter tail feathers. Yeah, she looks a little nervous, so we won't get too close. But we'll probably see some more peafowl as we continue on our visit to the zoo today. Oh, and there's, yep. He's picking it up. He's eating a California poppy right there. That's our state flower. How cool is that? Is that some good stuff? Very cool. Alright, let's continue on here. There's the barn for a little steam train. Very cool. And then, oh, here we go. Let's go see some South American animals in here. Andean condor, giant anteater, I think that's a guanaco, capybara, and a rhea. If we get really lucky, we'll get to see the tapir and the giant anteater in here. Oh, and here is the inside space for our giant anteater. Let's see. There he is, he's out and about. Beautiful. Confident tridactyla. What a beautiful animal. Look at you. I find anteaters so fascinating. Look at the way that he's walking on his knuckles right there. He's keeping those claws from contacting the ground, keeping them nice and sharp. And those claws are used for ripping open termite mounds. These are pretty specialist animals in the way that they feed, and in terms of what they eat. They subsist almost entirely on insects. Very cool. Just beautiful. Use that long tongue. Looking in there, all those nooks and crannies, trying to find things to eat. Wait, they don't really their mouth's barely open. I'm not even sure if their lower jaw, if their mandible actually really articulates. It might be more or less fused in place. They've got this long tubular skull. It has this super, super long tongue. Their tongue alone is like over 1 meter long, if I remember correctly. And that is their primary means of feeding. Very cool. W. Willis says, I've pet one of these guys. Interesting. Anteaters are a creature to keep your distance from, for the most part. They know how to defend themselves. They are very powerful. They've got these big muscular forelimbs like this, these big, big, big stout claws. And there are a number of people who have actually died from tussling with an anteater before. The scientific literature has actually got a few stories of hunters in South America where they get too close to an anteater and then it kills them. Those claws eviscerate you. It's happened. Yeah. There have been a number of zookeepers, too, in the past who have been injured or, I think, maybe even killed by anteaters. Oh, there he goes. Just missed him. So, yeah, definitely an animal to be respected. And, given a wide berth. Hi. Wow, you're beautiful. Look at you. Hello. I probably should be so close to it. And so those long, coarse hairs like that are an adaptation to protect them from the bites and stings of their insect prey. So when they're going and ripping apart a termite mound, those termites are going to do their very best to protect their colony. They're going to bite and sting and do whatever else they can. That really coarse hair like that is almost like think of it like a suit of armor. Hello. Look at that long snout. Wow. That was magical. Oh, and we've got a tapir right here. And the anteater interacting. Saying hi to each other. There's the tapir over there that I was really eager to show you. Very cool. How cool is that? Oh. And Paleontologist VA says, I hope the Andean condor comes up next. Well, hello, Andean condor. You are beautiful. Look at that bright red eye. How are you? This is another one of the largest birds in the world, by wingspan at least. I think just a touch. Wow, you are beautiful. So Laura says, it's a dinosaur? Yeah, no joke. All birds are dinosaurs, but the condor like this, they have a certain kind of carnivorous majesty to them. It makes that dinosaurian connection all the more obvious. Very cool. You're beautiful. Thanks for coming right up to see us. And Ruby says penguins are dinosaurs? Yeah, all birds are. Penguins, hummingbirds, geese, chickadees, seagulls, lake gulls, bay gulls, river gulls. Hi, thanks for saying hi to us. Very cool. Here, let's see our anteater again. Well, everybody is out and about right now. This is wonderful. If we get super lucky, we might see our tapir as well. Let's go back around. Anteater in here. Yeah. Wow. The reason they're called giant anteaters, and somebody had a question too about that long bushy tail. So, it gets pretty cold in part of the range for anteaters like this. Down in South America, living on the Argentine pampas there, you get pretty cold at night. It's one of the things that they do is they actually use that tail almost like a blanket. They throw it over the rest of their body. It helps keep them warm at night. It also helps disguise them from predators. So if you have a jaguar or something walking through, looking for a meal, it might walk right past an anteater like this and not notice it if it's got that tail tucked over the rest of its body like a blanket. Yeah. Oh, hello. Wow. How cool is that? I could watch the anteater all day. Such a cool animal. And I'm particularly interested in these guys because they really remind me of alvarezsaurs, our little, insect-eating, very stout-clawed, one-fingered theropod dinosaurs. Probably had a fairly similar lifestyle to anteaters, at least in the sense that they probably subsisted mostly on insects. They've got very similar looking claws to anteaters. And they have, in a certain respect, similar snouts too. Not quite as long and tubular as that, but they do have really reduced teeth, which is a characteristic of insect-eating animals. Here, let's see. Let's see those claws. You see them right there? Look at those. Really serious claws there. Those are like 4 inches long. Impressive. Yeah. Yeah. Are those claws so yeah. You know, anteaters can be dangerous animals. Gotta respect them, give them their space. I would not be getting anywhere near this close if there weren't glass separating us here. What a cool animal. And that stripe that runs over their shoulder like that. I don't know if it's ever really been seriously studied, but I would guess that probably evolved to help break up their silhouette. To make it more kind of confusing for a predator to figure out what's going on with this animal. If you're like a young jaguar and you've never encountered an anteater before, you know, that long dark stripe combined with the spot around the wrist, see that like dark spot? That almost looks like an animal's face on its arm, right? Look at that long tongue flick in and out. That's so cool. Oh, I love anteaters. But yeah. It's almost difficult to make heads or tails of this critter if you don't know what you're looking at. And that coloration is probably an adaptation for precisely that purpose, you know? Yeah. And, well, hello, Dapper Dame. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Thank you for the raid. It is good to have you here. We are having a grand old time at the San Francisco Zoo right now, and I'm really glad that you could join us. Check out the tapir. This is a Baird's tapir? Hello. Beautiful perissodactyl. So, welcome, Raiders. I hope you had an excellent stream. And I'm glad you're here. Let me introduce myself real quick by this Baird's tapir. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. And I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. Today that means hanging out at the zoo, answering people's questions, talking about the evolutionary relationships of these different animals. Oh, this tapir's investigating these ducks. Using that proboscis to smell around. Yeah. Tapirs are very fond of the water. Looks like maybe she was thinking of going for a swim and decided against it. Yeah. But look at the front feet. See the 3 toes right there? I think they actually have 4 on the front, but the 4th one you can't see right now. There's 3 that really like contact the ground, and then there's 3 in the back too. So these are of course perissodactyls, odd-toed animals. Yeah. Anyway, and do we have a little bit of a desync right now with the audio and video? Give me just a second here. Let me turn the camera off and turn it back on. We'll see if that solves it. Give me just a second here. All right, and we're back? Great. Back? Excellent. All right, is the audio and video synced up again? Let me know. Better? All right, great. Good to know that that's how to solve that. And hello to you. Speaking of dinosaurs, we've got this beautiful Andean condor over here. Hello, hello. How are you doing? The largest living birds by wingspan. So these guys evolved to eat carrion. They're scavengers. So they can soar tremendous distances in search of carcasses to eat. Threat display or a mating call? What are you thinking there, bud? Those eyes. And the beak. And some feathers. They're gorgeous. Yeah. Are condors and vultures related? Yeah. So condors are a type of New World vulture. I don't remember the name of the clade, the name of the family, but they are, yeah. They are very much a kind of vulture. Yeah. So these guys evolved to be able to traverse really, really great distances very efficiently. So they're built for soaring. They can, like, effortlessly soar through the air for miles and miles and miles and miles. It's an efficient way of being able to find carrion, find, carcasses to eat. The California condor is a close relative. And, yeah, very similar kind of lifestyle. But these guys are famous for soaring over the Andes Mountains of South America. And feeding on dead guanacos and stuff like that. Vicuñas, I think. And whatever else they can find. But yeah, beautiful critter. And Claire says, I bet the vulture wants to know what that fluffy mammal-looking thing you're carrying around is. Yeah. The wind weasel. The microphone shroud that I have on is pretty fuzzy. Here, if I go like this, you can see part of it in the frame. If I pull it down a little bit. But that might be what's getting his attention here. I don't know. Wow. You're really pretty, you know that? Yeah. Very cool. Our anteater's walking around again. Again, I could watch the anteater all day long. Oh, and there's a crow in the anteater enclosure. Anteater's like, who are you? What are you doing here? Oh, there he goes. There's just something so cool and unique about a giant anteater. It's kind of a reminder that I don't know, this is a creature straight out of the Pleistocene, as most creatures today are. But yeah, so this is part of this ecosystem that's been depopulated significantly. It used to have all kinds of big mega herbivores and mega carnivores too. Walking across the pampas of South America, and then they disappear very shortly after humans arrive. Around about, what is it? I think about 11,000 years ago. Luckily, anteaters survived, but oh, scratch in there. Yeah, there used to be so many other creatures, big and weird and wonderful like this, walking around. And yeah, it was not too long ago. No anteaters from North America? I'm not sure, Orange Boy. I don't know of any anteaters from North America. There might be some earlier on in the Cenozoic, in like the Eocene. I know that we had other critters like pangolins in Europe during like the Eocene, maybe Miocene. But I'm not sure if xenarthrans, like anteaters, ever made it into North America. They probably did. I'm not sure. I know we definitely had other relatives like sloths, other members of Xenarthra here in North America. There are ground sloths all over the place. And we find their fossils here in the Bay Area with some frequency. Anytime there's like a big construction project, a lot of excavation, sometimes they stumble across lots of ground sloths. But anyway, anteaters are a member of the same group, Xenarthra. The name means, like, strange wrist, I think. Because they do have very strange wrist bones. Anteaters and sloths alike. And are armadillos similar? I think they are. I think armadillos are considered xenarthrans. It used to be thought that pangolins are part of the same group. Edentata, I think, was the name of that group. Then we realized pangolins are actually more closely related to carnivorous mammals. To lions and tigers and bears, dogs and seals and etc. Weasels and critters like that. Anyway, I'll see you later, Anteater. Thanks for showing off for us. Very cool. And there's our tapir back there. Let's see if he gets any closer. Baird's tapir. Tapirus bairdii. Gestation period of 400 days. Usually gives birth to a single infant. These critters do not reproduce very quickly, and that's probably one of the reasons why tapirs globally aren't doing so hot. I think nearly all tapir species are endangered. And there's not very many species. I think it's 5 or fewer. There's the Baird's tapir, the Malayan tapir, the Andean tapir. I think there might be 1 or 2 more. But, another creature that people in the general public say looks prehistoric. We'll give you a list of 4 species of tapir. Okay, gotcha. But what a cool critter. Love that proboscis there. Yeah, she is beautiful. Let the proboscis kind of move from side to side as she sniffs in different directions. See those 3-toed feet in the back? She's where's Perissodactyl? Odd-toed ungulate. Is she gonna go first one here? Let's see. Maybe not. Maybe she's just looking around. Slightly chilly day. Look at that snout. So I have a 3D printed tapir skull at home. I'm just realizing now how small that is compared to the actual thing. So tapirs are another one of those animals that, look at his teeth, they've got some serious sharp teeth as well. Another creature that you don't want to harass because they will bite and you might lose a limb. It's happened to people before, especially when they've got babies. They can be very protective. Is she gonna get in the water? Tapirs love the water. And they're very good at swimming. They swim in a way that really reminds me of capybaras. They kind of punt along the bottom. They're very much at home in the water. You gonna go in there? Those white fringes on the tops of the ears. Very cool. So a tapir like this might seem out of place in a place, like San Francisco. But up until just a few thousand years ago, we had tapirs living right here in California. I think it might have been Merriam's tapir. There are specimens of that critter from the East Bay. Right near where my grandpa lives, actually. Concord, California. Concord. There's a tapir tooth in the collections at Berkeley from the Port Chicago area of Concord. These critters lived right here, just a few thousand years ago. When I say these critters, I mean a different kind of tapir, but a tapir nonetheless. Yeah. And do different tapir species get along? I'm not sure, Murph. I'm not sure if there are any species that live alongside each other in the wild. If there are any sympatric species. I think they each have their own distinct ranges, although maybe the Baird's tapir and the Andean tapir, maybe they used to overlap a little bit, I'm not sure. But I think nowadays the range of all the different tapir species has been so restricted that I don't think any species overlaps with another species, unfortunately. I don't know if they'd get along in captivity. A lot of animals would get along in captivity if you put them together and give them enough space and feed them well. Yeah, but I do know tapir can be a little on the aggressive side. You're beautiful. Thanks for coming to say hello. What a gorgeous critter. Look at the way that she kind of twitches her skin like that to get the flies off. Does that remind you of any other animals that might be closely related? Yeah. Yeah, Sterling Fan says horse. You bet. So yeah, tapir are related to horses. They're kind of perissodactyl. Oh, she's sitting down right there. Yeah. So, tapirs, horses, and rhinos form a clade called Perissodactyla. And then more narrowly than that, tapirs and rhinos are each other's closest living relatives today. They form a clade called Ceratotheria, if I remember correctly. It means horned beasts. Tapirs don't have horns, obviously, but yeah. But they're in there with the rhinos. Yeah, pretty cool. So just like horses that can kind of twitch their skin like that to shoo flies away, tapirs can do the same thing. It's not surprising when you realize that they're part of that same group, Perissodactyla. And looks like we got a big old raid here. Let's see, who is this? Yeah, Descartes Games. How are you doing? Welcome to Paleontologizing. Using my polite zoo voice right now because we are here at the San Francisco Zoo in San Francisco, California, hanging out with the tapir right there. And then we've got Andean condor over here. And we've got a giant anteater over here too. Oh, here he comes. Very cool. So, 3 different cool South American charismatic megafauna. Baird's tapir, giant anteater, and an Andean condor. How lucky are we? Being able to get so close to these critters. Here, watch. The anteater will come back around in a second. Alright, come on back. He's just chilling out in there. Oh, here he comes. Yeah. Very cool. Gotta love a giant anteater. Myrmecophaga didactylus.
That's pretty cool. You live streaming?
Yeah. Yeah. On Twitch right now.
How many people?
Right now I've got, look, let's see, 500 it says. We just got a raid, so a bunch of new people came in. Yeah. You got a affiliate advertise?
So I edited it. My friend paid me. I'm just checking up on the zoo today.
Oh, cool. Does it have to do with animals?
September 28th.
Oh, very
Delancey
cool.
Theater.
Ravens Animal Interspecies Contact. Really neat.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Check it out.
Super cool.
$35.
All right. Nice. Well, sell us on the film. What's it about?
Well, it's the location, Fort Funston, and the zoo.
Yeah.
Primarily. And he's got some really cool footage of the lion.
Oh, very cool.
Smacking the glass.
Oh, really?
While he's
Nice.
he's standing right behind it. You know.
Cool.
And my friend's really passionate about it.
That's awesome.
Older guy.
Yeah.
And I did all the editing for him.
Very cool.
It's a long movie.
Yeah.
But,
What's it called again?
here, I got it here.
Yeah.
Ravens Animal Interspecies Contact.
Cool.
There you go.
Very cool.
September 28th.
Yeah, thanks.
500.
Neat. Well, check it out, everybody. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
San
good.
Francisco. Got to be in San Francisco,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. Well, I hope all the seats fill up.
Yeah. Hope the best for the zoo, though, too.
Yeah.
I've been having there's a lot of things behind the scenes going on.
Really?
You know.
I know they've had budget issues and stuff in the past, so.
Yeah, management and all that.
Yeah.
I won't say too much on camera, but, you know, they can check it out.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for talking with us. Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's continue on. I'm going to see if maybe we can get really lucky and see the cassowary in a little bit, because I did not get to see them last time that I was here. I'm not sure even how many cassowaries they have. Let's go see if we can do that. We'll see what else we encounter along the way. Rhacodactylus says, editors of the unsung heroes of the entertainment world. Well, we try and sing their praises sometimes, like Claire Burr. Thank you for everything you do, Claire. Here, let's go see if we can see some bears. What time is it? Oh boy, 1 o'clock already. Shoot. Yeah. Yeah, ravens, animal interspecies contact. Yes, indeed, Claire. No apostrophe, though. It's not possessive, it's just, yeah, ravens, Ravens. Alright, looks like we gotta walk all the way around. See the bears and stuff. And, oh, Alexander Morrison, were you talking about Astrapatheres earlier? Really cool South American megafauna. Them and the toxodonts and all kinds of cool critters like that, yeah. This was the site of that gull that ate that family's pizza the last time that I was here. It's back in like 2021, I think. Did a live stream from the San Francisco Zoo. His family bought like a $40 pizza, and then some gulls promptly swooped down and just devoured the whole thing in front of them. This lady kept going, oh my stars, will you look at that? Oh my stars. It was pretty funny. You know, kind of shows you the inventiveness, resourcefulness of different animals. Even gulls, especially gulls. What am I saying? Clever critters. You remember that clip, Salamander? Yeah. Ava Little says, I wonder if the pizza place replaced it. I bet they didn't. I bet they're in cahoots. Let's see. I don't see any... Nope, there's a peccary back there. You can't really see. It's not really moving around. Two of them. Just having a rest back there. Members of the pig family. I think another clade that, like the rhinos and the tapirs, originated in North America. I'm pretty sure that's where suids are thought to have originated. Where they first evolved. Somebody can check on that for me, though. Keep me honest here. And we've got some lovely white pelicans over there, lording over that little island. Check them out. Lovely turtle right there too, big one. Very cool. So these white pelicans, I saw a keeper here when I was here briefly yesterday, like yelling at the pelicans for some reason. I don't think they are wild. I think they are here, like under the purview of the zoo. I think they're residents. Here. Those pelicans. Very cool. There's an old story with Museum of the Rockies, someone I used to work with, Jack Horner. Story about how pelicans are a good omen. You see a pelican like that, beginning of your day, it's going to be a good day. We're certainly having a good day here so far. This is wonderful. Alright, Grizzly Gulch. Let's see if we can see some grizzly bears. AKA brown bears versus Arctos. And I'm not seeing any so far. They might be elsewhere. But this is something that I missed yesterday. The pressed penny machine. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I thought I got all of these, but I missed this one. So let's do that. Or maybe I'll get it. You know what? I'll get it before I leave today. I'll make sure I come back here. Because it's going to take a minute. And I don't want to have to get all the pennies and quarters out. But don't let me forget about that, chat. I'll do that before I leave here today. Ava Little says, do it now, please.
Ontogeny.
Okay, I guess I can. But give me a second. I gotta set the camera down. And, there we go. canister. Where did I put that? It's down in here. But this will be jingling around the whole time afterward. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. That way I don't have to come back. It will be jangling around a little bit, but I'll be fine. There we go. Okay, this is my 3D printed tube that I keep these in. Oh, hopefully this is not out of order. Seems to be jammed. I think we might be out of luck today, chat. Sometimes these things get stuck. Oh well. That's unfortunate. Maybe I'll come back later and see if I can judiciously manhandle it, get it unjammed. Because sometimes they, just need a little bit of elbow grease, but I'm not going to do that on camera. Alright. We see our brown bears in here anywhere? Big enclosure for them. But I'm not seeing them. Might be resting, might be hiding. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there we go. It's resting, but resting her head on that rock. Versus Arctos. This is one of the largest land mammals in North America. Not quite the largest bear, though. Polar bear gets bigger. Longer and taller and heavier. But the grizzly, aka brown bear, is one of the symbols of the state of California. It's a cautionary tale because grizzlies, brown bears, are extinct in California. Extirpated, we would say. A particular subspecies of brown bear, the California grizzly, is extinct. Oh, there's two. There's one right there, too. Yeah. Yeah. Our state flag here in California is emblazoned with an illustration of a brown bear. If the wind picks up a little bit, you might get to see it. There we go. Yeah. And that's a cautionary tale. Because it was in the 1920s that the last of these wild bears were shot. The California grizzly is now extinct. Maybe someday there will be grizzly bears again, wild in California, but that day is not today, unfortunately. Now, there are accounts from early, European explorers visiting the Central Valley of California and just seeing dozens of brown bears just chilling in little valleys and meadows, walking around eating plants and digging up roots and tubers. And the majority of their diet did seem to be vegetative matter. So they're mostly not eating meat in California, it seemed like. I wonder if anybody's really studied that, looking at preserved isotopes or anything. But yeah, such a loss, What's that?
What are you gonna do?
What am I doing? I'm doing a live stream right now. So I've got a bunch of people watching, and I'm taking them on a tour of the zoo.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they're watching on the internet right now.
So you know how we do it from home? We watch a video on
What are you
YouTube.
doing?
Yeah.
He does the stream.
Yep. Exactly.
Thank you
Yeah.
for making the videos.
And what do you think of the grizzly bear? Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What a cool animal. There's another one over there too behind the rock. I don't know if you can see.
There's two
But
bears?
yeah, she's sleeping on the ground right
Oh,
there.
yeah, the little one over there. Or
Yeah.
Oh,
Auntie.
Pretty cool, right?
yeah, cool. Thank you for showing us that.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Don't let bears bite.
Very cool. So you can see some lettuce on the ground over there too. It must have been part of their breakfast. Because yeah, they do mostly eat plants. They'll eat just about anything that they can get their teeth around, but California grizzlies in particular seem to have been very keen on plant material. Anyhow. And who do we have over here? Let's see. This might be a bear habitat. I'm not seeing anybody in here. I'll keep going. Oh, and we've got here, a wild bird right here, a black-crowned night heron. Oh, doesn't really want to be on camera. That's okay. But they are all over the place. On the other side of the bay where I live, the black-crowned night heron is the official municipal bird, the official city bird for the city of Oakland, California. And you see them all over the place, especially around Lake Merritt there. There's a big colony of them that lives right by the Oakland Museum. And you can tell because the sidewalk is just plastered white with their droppings. They love hanging out in these particular trees, and there's dozens of them there. Maybe over 100, I don't know. But lots of black-crowned night herons. Very cool birds. I've got a special place in my heart for herons. They're such cool critters. Oh, and we've got a wolf over here. Canis lupus. Right there in the corner. Yeah. Very cool. Now the domestic dog is of course a descendant of wolf ancestors. If any of you have dogs at home or at work, that's basically like a subspecies of wolf. We used to call them Canis familiaris, domestic dog, but nowadays, you know, upon realizing that they're descended from wolves, we now call them Canis lupus familiaris, domestic dog, because they are a subspecies of wolf. Pretty cool. Yeah. Beautiful. So cool. Oh. Very, very cool. I think these are Mexican wolves, which if I remember correctly, they tend to be a little bit smaller than some of your more northerly wolves. There's a thing called, is it boreal gigantism? The idea that if you move higher in latitude, critters tend to get larger because the climate tends to be colder and it's easier to maintain your body temperature if you're a larger animal. You've got more volume per surface area. And so animals from more northerly climates, or sometimes more extreme southerly climates, tend to get larger because it helps them maintain their body heat. And Cactus Jack says they look like coyotes. They do kind of, but they are larger. So both wolves and coyotes are members of the same genus, genus Canis. So wolves are Canis lupus, and coyotes are Canis latrans. Yeah. How big their paws are, too. Pretty cool. Is it a couple? I'm not sure, Navarro. Yeah. And Salamander says, I believe the correlation of body size and cooler climates is tenuous. I think it might be true for certain clades and not true for others. Yeah. It's not like a general rule that's always true. But it is kind of a pattern that we see sometimes. Kind of like Hope's rule, if you're familiar with that. Larger body size. Hi there. Larger body size over geological time. Oh, very cool. We got a little bit closer here, but there's this red line painted on the ground. I'm trying to respect that as best I can.
它可能就是围着这个转，它又是转来转去。
All right, very cool. Not sure who's over here. American black bear. May or may not get to see the black bear today. Uh-oh, elusive. It's okay. I'll give the bear some privacy. And Arigatou says, where are the dinosaurs? You'll see some in a minute when we take a look at some of the birds. Tropical rainforest and aviary. We'll see if we can go in there and if we still get signal. And hey, Eddie Scarin. Hello, hello. And that's cool. So this used to be a sea lion enclosure, I guess? Visitors used to be entertained by California sea lions during a sea lion show. They could purchase fish to feed the marine mammals, bears, and even birds. I'm sure there would be gulls that would occasionally swoop in and grab some of those. But you can see this used to be like the sea lion enclosure. I guess they filled this in with a lot of dirt. Used to be able to swim around there when it was all filled with water. That's cool. Very neat. And Andrew Memorex, are those cicadas? No, that's construction equipment over there. Sounds like an angle grinder or something. They're working on some of the enclosures right now. And South American and tropical rainforest and aviary. Alright, let me know if the signal holds up in here, or if it starts to F a little bit. Because then I'll know to go back out. Please wait for the interior doors to close before entering. Alright, I've never been in here before, I don't think. This is going to be really cool. Yeah. Oh, very cool. Pretty neat. Got an emerald tree boa up here. I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. Beautiful emerald green snake. The constrictor. Beautiful. This is so cool. A red-tailed boa. And you can see the kind of rufous tail right there. That reddish hue. Beautiful. Oh, she's gorgeous. So snakes like this, I don't know, sometimes you hear the phrase lizards and snakes in reference to squamates. That's this group of reptiles. You kind of don't have to say lizards and snakes to a certain extent because, or, I don't know. Snakes are a kind of legless lizard. Like snakes are part of the lizard group Squamata, and they lost their limbs during the Cretaceous period, and they've been limbless ever since. So, in a sense, snakes are a kind of lizard. They evolved from an earlier sort of lizard that had legs. They're part of the lizard family, Squamata, lizard group. And Freelancer says he's in the reptile part, must have a nice smell. It just smells humid in here. It doesn't really smell like musky reptiles or anything. Who are you? This looks like some sort of a gomid lizard. You're beautiful. Right here up by the glass. We appreciate that. Yeah. Really pretty eye there. So squamates like this are we call ectothermic, like we were talking about yesterday on stream. They are quote-unquote cold-blooded, which means that they get their body temperature from the ambient temperature. This is a Guatemalan spiny-tailed iguana, Tenosaura pelearis. That's interesting. It's got the saura suffix there. Feminine. Like Maiasaura or Bugenosaura. But you're beautiful. Very cool. Wow, so close to the glass. Appreciate you being so obliging. But yeah, lizards like this are quote-unquote cold-blooded. So they're often, you'll just see them lounging around a lot. They're not going to be, on average, as active as an animal that's warm-blooded. Endothermic. Well, that's cool, because if they start lounging right next to the glass, then, you get a really good look at them. So we've got a Lynn's two-toed sloth, Salvin's Amazon in here. Let's see if we can spot them. Yep. There's our Amazon parrots up there. Beautiful. And there's our two-toed sloth. Yeah. And I can never remember the genus and species for two-toed sloths. Let's take a look. Calepus didactylus. Okay. Cool. Batypus tridactylus is the three-toed sloth. Our two-toed sloth is that gray lump up there. Just having a nice nap. But the interesting thing about modern sloths, we've got two living species, three-toed and two-toed sloth. They are not particularly closely related. At least in the sense that giant sloths, ground sloths, are kind of in between these guys. So I can't remember if it's the two-toed or three-toed sloth is more closely related to extinct ground sloths than it is to its fellow modern sloth today. Cool to think about. And HD says what happened to its third toe? It's just reduced number of digits. We see this in a lot of different groups of animals. Just reducing the digits over evolutionary time. Yeah, it's curled up there. And I do not see any algae coating the fur. I bet you that's something that, as they're taking care of these animals, they make sure that's not happening. And there you go, Claire. This is one of those cases where I don't know if reduction of digits connotes speed. Probably not. I don't know. Who is slower, the three-toed sloth or the two-toed sloth? I'm not sure. But cool critter up there. I'm glad there's plenty of space to hang out. Even if it does put us out of range of the camera, you know? I love the theming here, all these different plants. This nice artificial concrete conglomerate in here. It's lovely. Amazon tree boa in here. Hiding. Got a ruddy duck back there. Male and female, looks like. I don't know what it is, but ducks just always seem cheerful. I don't think I've ever seen a duck that seemed depressed. They always have a general kind of ebullience to them. They always seem pretty happy. And then look at all these ducks here. Hello, hello. Wow. Just hanging out doing their thing. These are in the old anaconda enclosure. The anaconda Oliver, at 40 years of age, has passed away. He dazzled thousands of visitors, growing to an impressive 15 feet and 110 pounds. Oliver was an iconic resident of the San Francisco Zoo and a valuable ambassador for his species. He will be remembered as a gentle giant who took life slow and easy. Oh, but we've got a beautiful green iguana in there. Look at him. Wow. He's a big one. Green iguanas, been one of my favorite animals since I was a kid. Iguana is the genus and species name. Pretty easy to remember. Wish we could get a little bit closer. But yeah, very cool.
Want to see the turtle?
Very neat. Pretty cool. And this is pretty neat. I love this rain gauge right here. So this is showing annual rainfall on average for different places around the world. We've got Quitos, Peru up there. A lot of rainfall, holy cow. Mumbai, India. Big monsoons every year. Get you up to there. Yaoundé, Cameroon. Tokyo, Japan. Higher rainfall than I would expect. Although I guess, I don't know, Japan, Tokyo in particular, famously has a really impressive, like, runoff sewage system. So, makes sense with this much rainfall as they get. Mexico City right here. Paris. Beijing. San Francisco. Not a lot of rainfall in San Francisco. Mojave Desert, California there. So, less than 4 inches, a little over 4 inches annually. Pretty cool. I like that. That's pretty neat. Kind of talking about what is a rainforest. A lot of that is measured by precipitation, as I understand it. It's cool that they talk about that here. Oh, and we've got some lovely colonians here too. Hello, hello, turtle friend. How are you doing? Turtles are such cool animals. They're very closely related to archosaurs, the group of reptiles that dinosaurs belong to, including birds. Crocodiles are another part of that, and then you've got your turtles, which are just outside of Archosauria. So archosaurs plus turtles form a clade that we call Archelosauria. It's cool to think about. A turtle is more closely related to a dinosaur like, say, T-Rex or Bapiosaurus or Brachiosaurus than it is to like a lizard, you know? In the grand scheme of things, lizards are not closely related to dinosaurs. Turtles are a lot closer. Crocodiles are even closer. Birds literally are dinosaurs, though. Interesting to think about, right? It is turtle time, Mr. Vet. Yes, indeed. And Crimson Carnotaurus says, I would have thought turtles and tortoises are more distant. That's what we used to think. There used to be a general consensus, I don't know, it was a tentative consensus, but it was that turtles are what we call anapsid reptiles, so they're not closely related to the diapsids, like archosaurs and other lepidosaurs. Wait, are archosaurs lepidosaurs? No, they're diapsids. Anyway, nowadays we recognize that the turtles are actually pretty close to the archosaurs. Anyway, pretty cool. I'm glad the signal held up in there. Let's go back outside. See what else we can see. Well, well, well. We've got some non-bird dinosaurs here. Oh, I love this. Well, well, well. If it isn't a brachiosaur right here. Lovely. I wonder who made these. They don't look like they're from the 90s. They look more recent than that. So we've got a brachiosaur. We've got... Is that supposed to be a tyrannosaur? It's got really spindly forelimbs, but it looks like it's got more than 2 fingers on each hand. I wonder who that's supposed to be. Got another one over there too. We'll go take a look at it. Oh, and this is neat. Nice little sign on the Mesozoic. This should now be 66 million years ago. So we've got better dates nowadays, but yeah. Very cool. I think maybe this is supposed to be like Herrerasaurus right here. Very cool. And up. I don't know if that's supposed to be a tyrannosaur or what. Another one over there. I wonder if the crest is that's supposed to be. Well, it wouldn't be Dylong because then they would have feathers on it. I'm not sure who that's supposed to be. Cool. And let's see. Kennedy says, Danny, can you clarify what closely related means? I assume we're talking about it based on structures and common ancestors rather than genetics. Well, genetics are part of that. So the structures and the genetics, they're like along for the ride. So if a creature, if 2 creatures share a recent common ancestor, that means they're going to have similar genes because they're closely related. And that means that structurally they're going to look pretty similar too, for the most part. Sometimes you have really rapid change in the phenotype, like the outward appearance. But yeah, when we say closely related, we mean actually closely related, in the same way that like you're closely related to your siblings. You're a little bit closer to your siblings than you are to your cousins, or your second cousins, or your third cousins, or like that. When we say that 2 organisms are closely related, we mean that not too long ago they both evolved from the same ancestor. And the further back that common ancestor is, the more distantly related those two creatures are. Does that make sense? Alright. Ooh. Looks like we're wandering over into the Australian outback section. Might get to see my beloved cassowaries. Cross your fingers. They can be elusive, but if we're really lucky, we might get to see them. Holy cow. It's out in the open. You're beautiful. Hello, cassowary. Hi. It's cassowarius. My most favorite extant bird. You are so lucky to be able to see this cassowary right now. Holy cow. Gorgeous. What a beautiful animal. Brightly colored skin around the neck. Gorgeous casque on top of the head, that bony crest. These are forest-dwelling birds from northern Australia and New Guinea. They like to hang out in densely vegetated jungles. Mostly eating fruit. They'll also eat insects and small vertebrates if they feel like it, but they're primarily frugivores, and they're really, really important for forest ecosystems because they help spread the seeds of various trees. They are, I think, the primary seed dispersal critters for a lot of different species of tree in that area. I'm so glad that we walked over right when he was out in the open. Because they can be pretty shy. Oh. Yeah. So, double-wattled cassowary, aka greater cassowary, southern cassowary, Cassowarius. So, northern Australia and New Guinea is their range. Open it. That is a big old mosquito. Wow. She was trying to bite me. Sorry to show you a critter get squashed live on cam, but man, she was really digging in there, trying to get me. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. Freelancer says that fence isn't holding back any dinosaurs, in my humble opinion. It's certainly holding back the cassowary. We'll see if we can come back, if she's back out in the open. Yeah. Very cool.
I don't know what's there.
How did that?
Do you want to go to the box? I mean, yeah, the box will tell us. I see it in the back.
Anywho. Oh, we've got another large flightless bird. Another one of my favorite critters over here. Emu dromaeus. Australian emu. How lucky are we, Jack? Hello, emu friend. Look at that crazy hairdo. You are beautiful. Look at those beautiful big orange eyes. The feathers remind me of Kramer outside. This is the second largest bird in the world by weight after the African ostrich. Very cool. Just chilling, just hanging out here. There might be some wallabies around. Yeah, I see some kangaroos over there too, lounging. There's a squirrel and a peacock maybe about to get into a fight. But we're here focused on the emu. Very, very cool. So this is a kind of a morphotype that we see evolve again and again throughout the history of life on Earth. Large, two-legged. Two-legged kind of omnivorous, maybe mostly herbivorous animal. We've got multiple kinds of dinosaur during the Mesozoic that evolved this kind of body type. You've got ornithomimids, and you've got different groups of ceratosaur. And then you've got multiple big flightless birds like this that evolved throughout the Cenozoic as well, during the Age of Mammals. You've got the ratites, ostriches, emus, cassowaries, rheas. You have the moas of New Zealand. You've got the elephant birds of Madagascar. You've got critters like Gastornis, aka Diatrima. They're actually more closely related to like ducks and geese, but they're big, large-bodied, flightless birds running around on two legs. Probably pretty fast runners, I would imagine. And then you get the forest rakids, the terror birds too, big carnivorous, long-legged flightless birds, fast runners, and with enormous heads, really, really big beaks. It's interesting, if you're going to be a carnivorous bird, you tend to have a larger head, larger skull, larger beak than a bird that's mostly eating seeds or plants or small vertebrates or insects or whatever. Yeah, very cool. We're so lucky. He's just right here in front of us. And Obarum says, are terror birds from all of the Americas or just South America? They originated in South America, and that's kind of their stronghold. Only after North and South America meet at the Isthmus of Panama, during the Great American Biotic Interchange, does, so far, only one species that we know of, one species of terror bird move north into North America. That's Titanus walleri, which is known from Florida and from Texas. But known from pretty limited fossil material. We don't have a lot of remains of that critter. And so there may have been others around too, because the stuff that we have is pretty limited. Birds are kind of notoriously bad at fossilizing. They tend to have thin, delicate, hollow bones. But yeah. Very cool.
They just follow you around. You find everything.
Very, very cool. Look at those patches of skin that you can see there. Kind of up and above his ears. Kind of nice bluish coloration. I wish that you would vocalize so you can hear it. They make this really cool kind of drumming noise deep in their body, so they can communicate over long distances. It's a low frequency kind of call, so it carries pretty far. Yeah. Oh, a new Bullock-Ornis material suggests it could have been 4 meters tall. Holy cow, Dinosaur Dave, that's so cool. Yeah, I forgot about those Australian big flightless birds, like Bullock-Ornis. Super, super neat. Super cool. You are beautiful, my emu friend. And I really need to get in contact with Maya. See about meeting Stompy. Man, I love emus. They're such cool critters. And it'd be great to do a stream there. Well, we'll see. It's funny, as a dinosaur paleontologist, I'm always telling people that birds are dinosaurs, but when you see a bird like this, like an emu, it kind of brings that home for people, you know? All birds evolved from, earlier theropod dinosaurs, but big flightless birds like that, I think to a lot of people seem more dinosaur-y, you know? I'm not mad about that. Whatever helps people understand, you know? Very cool. Thank you so much for posing so obligingly for us. It's really neat. Appreciate that. Let's continue on our merry way. Very cool. All right. There's something ancient about an emu, says Katie. I guess so, yeah. At least superficially. Yeah. No, numbers are up again. Yeah, it looks like for whatever reason our signal just dropped out there. The vagaries of, mobile data. It dropped down to like 100 kilobytes per second back there. And now we're back up to like 2,000 or 3,000, so I don't know, it's just a dead spot right back there. on the other side of the emu. I don't know why. You probably missed out on the swamp gum tree, huh? Eucalyptus ovatus, we were talking about that. Anyway, that's one of the original trees that was planted here in 1925, the sign said, which is pretty cool. A lot of really big, beautiful trees in the San Francisco Zoo. It's lovely. Yeah. And, well, we get a chance to see the koala here. I know koalas can be pretty secretive. Let's see him. But I do love that they try and tailor some of the plants to, to this area. So we've got a lovely Australian tree fern right here. Cyathea cooper. Yeah, I think the koalas are probably inside right now. We'll see if maybe we can catch them. And you're hearing what? Thank you, Claire. Okay. Here, I wonder if it's a cable issue. Yeah, don't call them bears. Koalas are not bears. Let's see if we can see them. Oh, right there. Look at that big ball of gray fluff. Yeah. Just sleeping. And this is really neat. I've talked about this many, many times. The way that marsupials birth their young. Babies of marsupials are born before they're fully formed. Yeah, well, I mean, humans are too, to a certain extent. But, yeah. We've got right there, inside, like in utero, the little embryo developing. And then, after it's born, after about 35 days after fertilization, I guess, really soon after fertilization, it has to crawl up out of the birth canal and up the outside of the mother and into the pouch, where it latches on to a nipple there, and then it's developing inside the pouch. The way that marsupials birth their young is just really fascinating. So different from the way that we as placental mammals do it. But yeah, very cool. And Prince Knitter says it's different, like it crawls when it's that small and goes into another pouch. Yeah, so it comes out of the birth canal. So this is inside the mother's body. Birth canal in there. Then rather than just like fully forming and then coming out like we do as placental mammals, marsupials, the embryo, like basically when it's a little flesh bead, has to come out of the birth canal and then climb up into the pouch, like you see right here. That's the idea. And then it develops inside of the pouch. So a very different kind of reproductive regime than we as placental mammals do. Oh yeah. Easiest birth process in the mammal world, probably, maybe marsupial dogs. Well, there are other mammals that actually lay eggs. You got your monotremes, your platypus and your echidna. And they don't even bother with the whole live birth thing. They still lay eggs like the earliest mammals did. Pretty cool. And there you go, salamander. Yes, exactly. Yeah. All right. Let's continue onward. See what else we can see. Ooh, what kind of bird is that? Is that a kingbird over there? Or maybe a black phoebe? Some sort of tyrant flycatcher? It's neat seeing the way that the local wildlife you know, how they find various bits of habitat in the zoo as well and make their living here. Alright. And 6 raiders from Suave Space Noid have joined. Welcome, welcome, raiders. It's good to have you here. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Welcome to the San Francisco Zoo. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, so I'm a scientist who studies fossils, dinosaur fossils in particular. And normally when I've got this mobile live stream set up, I'm out in the field digging up dinosaurs live on stream, but it's, autumn is fast approaching, so it's not really the field season for me right now. I'm back home in California, and we've got some mobile data this month, so we're visiting different cool places and streaming from there. So welcome to the San Francisco Zoo. We're talking all about these different critters and their evolutionary relationships and what makes them special. And I'm glad you're here. Thanks for joining us. Check out these macaws over here. Gorgeous. Look at you, just front and center. Out to see us. Hello there, macaws. Yeah. Look at those big, powerful beaks. So birds like this are especially evolved for durophagy, for, biting tough material. So we'll eat all kinds of different nuts and seed pods and stuff like that. And they'll even use their powerful beaks to, on cliff faces, they'll kind of dig into the cliff face, and they're able to acquire minerals that way that would be inaccessible to other kinds of birds. Highly, highly social animals. Anytime you see a bird that's got really bright coloration, that's maybe a clue that it's a very social kind of bird. Most birds are social to a certain extent, but the psittaciforms, parrots in general, have very, very rich social lives, complex social behaviors. It's good for them to be around other members of their species, so I really like in a zoo when you've got multiple here that can hang out with one another and keep each other company. Yeah. The clay mineral supplement, exactly, Vulcanic, yeah. Beautiful. Gorgeous critters. And so that sociality, that having such rich social lives, it's one of the reasons why they're so intelligent. They've been known to solve all different kinds of puzzles and stuff like that. They're escape artists too, so birds like this are notorious for being able to escape their enclosures, so zookeepers really got to keep on their toes and make sure that parrots don't plot their escape, because it happens. They're very good at manipulating objects, both with their beaks and with their feet. Very, very dexterous. They're excellent at solving problems. Very cool. Rainbow dinosaurs, yes indeed. As birds, they are of course dinosaurs. So in the wild, these birds will live in great big flocks. Always be kind of, communicating with one another, having little quarrels and hello. Who is this right here? Lovely green parrot. Beautiful. And this is something really interesting too. So look how on his right foot right there, he's got 3 toes at the top and 1 at the bottom. But on his left foot, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. So they can actually move around their first digit, equivalent to like your big toe. They can move it around to the back if they need to, for manipulating objects or for climbing. Normally birds have got one toe in the back and three in the front, but parrots can actually swivel that digit 1 around, first toe, towards the back if they need to. Really cool. You're beautiful. Yeah. Like seeing the camera. A yellow-headed Amazon. That would make sense, Lenina, yeah. Wow. Those are green-winged macaws. See over there? And this would make sense if it's a yellow-headed Amazon here. Not that you're so eager to be on camera. Huh? Thanks for coming to say hello. I do sometimes kind of wonder if wearing a hat like this entices some of the animals to come up to me in their enclosures, because maybe it's similar to some of the hats that some of the zookeepers wear. I don't know. This is just my hat when I wear outdoors, especially when I'm streaming. But yeah, like a wide brim hat. It's better than a baseball cap for me, anyway. But yeah, it might have an added benefit at the zoo. Might make some of those critters more curious to come over and say hello. And I'm okay with that. We've got the California Conservation Corridor in here. Let's take a look at this. And what kind of turtle is that? Not a tortoise. That's some kind of pond turtle right there. Huh. I love this. This is really cool. Man, if I could get a t-shirt with this, I totally would. I should look in the gift shop later. And then Lilith Vartan says, I think animals just like you, like the cats. I don't know what. Don't say that. I'm going to get a big head. There we go. Oh, look at you. California tiger. Wow. Hello, hello. Gorgeous. Maybe it's just like old, kind of low-budget documentaries from my childhood talking about the evolution of life on Earth. Sometimes they just show stock footage of salamanders walking around to talk about vertebrates conquering a terrestrial environment. But it is that kind of basic body plan. 4 legs and a tail, eyes on top of a flattish head. This was the general body plan of the first tetrapod animals. Yeah, beautiful. California tiger salamander. These amphibians range from Sacramento to Santa Barbara. So from up north up here, Northern California, not too far from where I live, down to Santa Barbara. It's a pretty wide swath of the state. Now an endangered species, they can only be found in areas of San Mateo County. That's just south of us here, just south of us, south of San Francisco, to Santa Barbara County. They will leave their burrows to feed on insects and worms during nights of high humidity and return to the burrow before morning. So they're fossil. And look at their tails are from side to side. They're laterally compressed for fast swimming. Nice sculling tail like a paddle. That's so cool. I'm walking around over there. Yeah, very cool. Really neat. And Darth Jacoby says, where do insects evolve in the evolutionary chain? So they're a kind of arthropod, so they're related to crustaceans. Insects are, they've got an exoskeleton, they've got jointed legs, so they're related to crustaceans, crabs and lobsters and isopods and critters like that. And they're related to arachnids too, spiders, harvestmen, and scorpions and their kin. So those are the first animals to come up onto land, the arthropods, the ancestors of the insects and the millipedes and stuff like that, and then later tetrapods. So, yeah, insects are a kind of arthropod, I guess is the short answer there. So they're a kind of invertebrate animal. Bigger than I thought they would be. It almost looks like a leopard frog. Red-legged frogs were once a common species. Mark Twain even wrote about them in the county, but they've undergone a population decline of Gardens is working with Yosemite National Park to reintroduce frogs to areas in the park that they've disappeared from over half a century ago. The species is also involved in an interesting conservation conundrum. Amphibians like the red-legged frogs are favorite prey of the endangered San Francisco garter snake. Land managers and conservationists are working to balance the needs of both species to ensure their survival. Red-legged frogs. See, I little frogs. I guess I was picturing something around the same size as like a poison dart frog. Super tiny. These guys are big. They look superficially similar. Oh, got one. Nice. Good for you. Did you catch that, chat? Wow, he's eating good. Oh, we just missed it? Oh, shoot. Did the signal cut out? That'd be bad signal. I reenact. Maybe you'll get to see. Did we catch it? Nice. Hopefully, I caught that there. Missed it again? axolotls are critically endangered due to habitat destruction, pollution, as well as invasive and introduced species. So these are delay between the audio and video too, because I can restart the camera. That might help. Yeah. Anyway, excellent. Let's see if maybe we can catch some orangutans here. So I saw one doing its thing up there earlier, but they may have since moved. They may have gone inside for now. There we go. There's an orang right there. So, if I remember correctly, the word orang in Malay just means person. So, orang-utan means person of the forest. There's like an apocryphal story that, like, when European explorers were going to the Malay archipelago and talking with locals about these critters, the locals were like, yeah, they're forest guys. They're guys who live in the forest, and they're just people. And they can like talk and do all kinds of people stuff, but they choose to never speak because if they ever spoke, we would give them jobs and they'd have to like go to a job every day. So they don't. They just live in the forest and they never talk. And I don't know if that was like an actual folk belief. It almost sounds like a joke that you would tell someone. So maybe it was just, local people just cracking a joke. But I always really liked that story. Ape speak, taxes will be imparted onto them. There you go, Alexander Morrison, yeah. You want to grow up to be a forest person? I think a lot of us do, Claire, yeah. Oh. He's getting up. Looks like a big male. He's got the flat face. We'll see if he turns around. Look at that long hair. I think this is really cool the way that this enclosure is designed. It looks like he could just walk right over to us, but there's a big moat right there. The only way he can get out of here is, I guess, to go across that rope and into the inside part of his enclosure. There's his face. Very cool. These are one of my dad's favorite animals. The orangutan. Some lettuce out of there. A little snack. Very cool. Pretty neat. Pretty darn neat. Here, we'll keep going. Leave the orangutan in peace. Alright. And let's go see some flamingos over here. Luckily, they are right over by the viewing window, so we'll go take a look at them. So flamingos are native to Africa and South America. I think these might be Chilean flamingos. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Chilean flamingos. Very cool. Here, take a look. Beautiful. It's cool to see them dabble in the water like that. So we were talking all about filter feeding animals when we had our whale shark stream. Here's a filter feeding animal that I forgot to mention. A flamingo. So they've got these filaments inside their bill that they use like a sieve for catching their prey. They eat tiny little crustaceans, things like brine shrimp in the water. And here in captivity, there's like a nutritious slurry, I think maybe partly made of brine shrimp. It's put in the water for them. Very cool. Pretty neat. So notice these flamingos here are pink. That actually comes from their diet. So they're not naturally pink. That's not something that's like inherent to them as an animal. It comes from what they eat. So it's carotenoids, which are like it's like a reddish kind of, I guess, protein in their food. That's what gives them that pink coloration there. So in captivity, they won't have that unless you supply them with it. So here at the zoo, they're given like an artificial supplement of carotenoids in order to give them that characteristic pink color like they would have in the wild. They have such unusual bills. It's perfectly evolved for sifting through the water like that. So cool. Those tiny little yellow eyes that they have. So cool. Beautiful. Look at how each of them has got that, like a different number on their leg bands to keep track of them. There's so many in here, though. It's used to tell them apart so they can each get individualized care, I'm sure. Very cool. Salamander says, I wonder if the keepers can tell them apart by sight. I don't know. There's a lot of them to keep track of, so that's why they've got numbers. I do wonder if those numbers correspond to names, though, if each one of them has an individual name. No, they're basically filter feeding? Exactly, Prince Leonard. Yeah. That's exactly what they're doing. And that, like, kind of hook shape to their bill is a way to do that. Super cool. So yeah, they'll ingest some water like this, and then they'll use those like filamentous fibers in their bill, and sift through the water and keep the little crustaceans that they eat inside their beaks so they can swallow them. Pretty specialized way of making a living, but seems to work really well for it. Yeah. Very cool. Very, very cool. Love flamingos. Yeah, let's keep going over here. Maybe we'll take a look at the sculpture garden real quick, and we'll say hello to some of my favorite critters in there as sculptures. Hopefully there's not kids running around everywhere. go take a look. Alright, yeah, very cool. So here is the sculpture garden. I love being here on a weekday, you know? It's so uncrowded. It's great. They chose some really, really cool animals for the sculpture garden. Some of my favorites. Right here is one of the heaviest living reptiles. The largest turtle in the world today. Leatherback sea turtle. They get even bigger than this, believe it or not. Take a look at that. I love these. These are such high quality sculpts. So leatherback sea turtles are so named because their back is leathery. They don't have like a hard shell under the whole thing. It's basically, it looks almost like a weird rib cage. And then it's got this kind of leathery texture to it. Super, super cool. Dermichelys is the genus name for the leatherback sea turtle. Awesome critter. I love the detail around that. We've got, is this a Japanese giant salamander right here? I think so. Very cool. So yeah, various amphibians around here. This is a Goliath frog. I think this is about actual size. They get pretty darn big. And then, coelacanth. Check out the coelacanth right here. Love this. The story of the coelacanth is a really, really interesting one. A fish well known from the fossil record, like really, really well known from fossils. Always assumed to be extinct. It's been known from fossils from the Mesozoic era for a long time. Until in 1938, Marjorie Courtney Latimer was a museum person down in South Africa. She found one in a fish market. They're not extinct. They're still around. Today there's two populations. We know of one kind of between southern Africa and the Comoros Islands and Madagascar. And then there's another population in Indonesia. Two different species. Latimeria cholumnae and Latimeria natoensis. This is actual size, by the way. These guys get very, very big. But they are very closely related to the ancestor of the tetrapods, land-living vertebrate animals like you and me. So, you know how vertebrate animals that live on land evolved from fish with limb-like fins? That's that limb-like fin right there, that big fleshy lobe. So this is a sarcopterygian fish. This is much more closely related to you and me than it is to a trout or a tuna or a clownfish or halibut or whatever. This is basically a tetrapod. It's very, very close to like the origin of amphibians.
Ontogeny.
Super cool. Love coelacanths. And then there's that lovely puppy dog tail they've got in the back right there. Anyway, we'll do a great big stream like we do every December. This year on December 23rd, Fishmas. Do a stream about coelacanths, and you'll learn all about them. It's such a cool story. One of my favorite living organisms, Latimeria cholumnae, the coelacanth. We've got a few other really cool critters right here. Big old saltwater crocodile. I think this is a salty. I don't think it's a Nile crocodile. But this is about maximum size for these critters. They get really big. Really, really big. Check that out. The size of those teeth. Crocodiliforms got even larger during the Mesozoic. There are crocs that are significantly bigger than this, like 30 feet long during the Cretaceous. Critters like Sarcosuchus and Deinosuchus. But Crocodilus porosus, saltwater crocodile, is the biggest one alive today. Coast Guard helicopter. We're in a hurry. The Pacific Ocean is just a couple blocks that way. We are right here on the coast in San Francisco. Anyhow, And we've got a lovely kiwi bird and a hoatzin. Very cool. Pisticomus, I think, is the genus name for these guys. Really, really cool. Oh, I love this. And then, I didn't even see this last time, we've got an Archaeopteryx right here. So, hoatzins are well known for, well, the juveniles have got claws on their wings. They use that for climbing up and around the branches. Those claws later kind of either resorb or drop off. So the adults generally don't have claws on their wings, but the juveniles do, which is really cool. Just like with Archaeopteryx, those claws on the wings. And Watson is another one of my favorite extant birds. Really cool. Also one of the very few herbivorous birds in the world. They are folivorous, so they almost feed entirely on leaves. And as a result, I think they have a reputation for being really smelly. A lot of fermentation. Got a California condor right here. This is actual size. Gorgeous critter. And I love the eyes there. So well done. What a beautiful sculpt. This is something we talk about every year too, for International Tuatara Day. This is Sphenodon punctatus. The tuatara. So this might look like a lizard. It is not a lizard. The tuatara belongs to a group called the Rhynchocephalia. So this is a group of critters that diverged from other reptiles before the evolution of lizards. So while it might look like a lizard, it is very much not a lizard. It predates the lizards. It's from long before the lizards. There used to be many, many species of these guys all over the world throughout the Mesozoic during the age of dinosaurs. And there were ones that lived all over, different continents, North America, South America, Australia, Europe, Asia. There were ones that lived in trees, ones that lived on the ground, ones that lived in the ocean. There were marine rhynchocephalians too. So some of these evolved to become marine reptiles. Nowadays there's only one species left, and it's in New Zealand. Sphenodon punctatus, modern tuatara. There it is right there. This is really lovely. I actually took a scan of this yesterday when I was here at the zoo when my equipment wasn't working. I thought, well, let me get some pressed pennies and let me scan the tuatara. So maybe we can do a 3D print, because it'd be lovely to have one of these in the office. And it is big. I'm impressed with how large it is. I think this is about as big as they get. Maybe a little bit larger than they get, actually. But yeah, gorgeous critter. Love tuatara. And there we go. I've got a pangolin here too. World Pangolin Day is coming up again in February. Make sure to do a special stream for that. But I also scanned the pangolin yesterday. Let's hope that turns out, because it'd be great to print one of these for the office. But yeah, pangolins. These are a kind of mammal around today. They are highly endangered. They're often called the most trafficked mammal in the world. They're used in, scam, folk medicine stuff that... Don't even get me started on that. But these poor critters are just butchered by the thousands every year, and that's why their numbers are declining. But they are remarkable creatures, and I'm really excited to talk about them again in February for World Pangolin Day. So tune in for that. Pangolins are super, super cool. They have these lovely claws for digging. They're insectivorous, so they feed almost entirely on insects. And that's an African giant ground pangolin right there. There's different species in Africa and South America. This is the largest of them. And that's about as big as they get. Gorgeous critter. Yeah. Anyway, that's just a few of the awesome animals here. There's our coelacanth again. Ava Little says, does it say anything about the artist here? It does not. However, these are all faded now, but there's a sign that says, do not ride the coelacanth. I've got pictures of that from a few years ago before it got all faded. But yeah, I love that sign too. I was able to find some information about the artist online. because I was searching for 3D models of Tuatara, and that showed up. So, yeah, if you just search like Tuatara 3D model, you'll probably find that one. But the artist talks about their work with the San Francisco Zoo there on their blog. So yeah, if you do a little bit of hunting, you can figure that out. Anyhow, let's continue, and then I gotta go pretty soon, so I missed some of the traffic on the way home. But this has been a lot of fun. Let me know if anybody's got any questions, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Shame they didn't give you a plaque for the artist? Yeah, I hope they were well paid at least, you know? Also, if you just search San Francisco Zoo, like Sculpture Discovery Garden or whatever it's called, artist, you might be able to find some info. And it might be multiple artists for those different sculpts, I'm not sure. Anywho. Sculpture Learning Plaza, thanks Claire. Yeah. Is this the zoo that will get giant pandas? I don't know, Miss Yvette, I'm not sure about that. I know giant pandas are extremely expensive to keep. And I don't know if they've got the Skrilla for that here, you know? Not only are they the most expensive animal to feed in a zoo by far, a giant panda it's more expensive to feed than an elephant. On top of that, they come with an additional $1 million a year price tag because all giant pandas, belong to the people of China, and you basically, in order to keep a giant panda outside of China, you got to pay China $1 million a year in order to do that, per panda, as far as I know. And they're basically on loan, like they can get taken back at any time. So I don't know if they're going to do that here. Yeah. Anywho. But yeah, there we go. San Francisco Zoo. I've really got to get going pretty soon. Panda subscription model. There you go. Astronomy show. Yeah. Here, we'll go back over by the giraffes. And I think we'll wrap this up. This is so fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Macy Pa. It's always lovely to be able to bring people along for the ride. Let's talk about animals. We're so lucky to share this planet with so many other cool, incredible animals. And I think in our day-to-day lives, it's so easy to forget, all of the other habitats that exist here on our planet outside of our offices and our homes. Places of work. There's a great big world out there. There's so many other critters that we share common ancestors with, We're also part of this grand tree of life as human beings, even though we often forget it. It's important to ground yourself and to think about our own place in the grand scheme of things, our own place, and among all these other living things. And I'm glad you're able to do that with me today. I hope you're inspired to learn more about our natural world and about the creatures that live on it with us. Anyway, with that said, let me go ahead and find somebody to raid here, and we'll wrap up this broadcast. Who else is on Twitch right now? Let's see. Let's go right into Alvea's Sanctuary, shall we? Doing some animal sanctuary stuff. Alright. Raid Alveus Sanctuary. There we go. It is follower or subscriber only chat, so be aware, but you'll see some other cool critters there. Out there near Austin, Texas. Including, if you're lucky, an emu. So anyway, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your attention, your questions, your enthusiasm, and your financial support. This would not be possible. I wouldn't be able to pay zoo admission or bridge fare or anything like that without your support. So thank you very, very much for everywhere that you've supported this channel, everybody. Without further ado, let's go ahead and raid into Alveus Sanctuary. Alright, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.